Oi, gente, boa tarde. Sejam todos bem-vindos ao nosso terceiro Seminário de Internacionalização, ao nosso segundo dia do seminário. Antes de mais nada, quero dizer quero mais uma vez elogiar o nosso coral belíssimo e que nos prestigia todos os dias no início de cada sessão. Eu só vim aqui passar para deixar um oi, agradecer a presença dos nossos queridos professores, professora Ana Luiza, que vai moderar a mesa de hoje, professora Ana Carolina Fonseca, professora Juliana Herbert de Mauro, Mastella. Welcome you all, and I'm very glad you're here. We are supposed to only speak English today, right? So from now on, we are gonna just talk in English. I just need to just a little message about the presence list. If you look on the description of our video at YouTube, we have now the links for the presence. We have the link for the Padlet for interaction, and I think we can also chat by the YouTube, but we preferentially we should use the Padlet, right, Professora Ana Luiza? Okay, so let's start, and I wish you all a very good meeting, a very nice discussions, and just keep in mind that the meeting will be until Friday afternoon. So I see you, hope to see you all and the whole week tomorrow and so on, okay? Bye-bye, I will be in the backstage. The screen is yours, Ana Luiza. Bye.
Thank you, Jennifer. Well, good afternoon or good evening, or maybe even good morning for some. I'm very excited to be here leading this session today. Well, and as Jennifer has just said, UFCSPA bids you welcome to the second session of our third Symposium on Internationalization. So I'm Ana Luiza Freitas. I'm an English language educator from the Department of Education and Humanities at UFCSPA. This session's goal is twofold. The first one is to contextualize an internationalization teaching project. The second one is to share experiences and promote discussion from the perspective of 3 content teachers who, among other colleagues, took upon themselves the endeavor of teaching through English, right? So just to reinforce Jennifer's words again, we would like to encourage participants to register their questions and comments in the session's Padlet, right? Whose link you should be able to copy from the comments area where a member of our organizing committee must be about to enter it. And also we've got the map Padlet, right? So please, someone from the organizing committee also enter the link to the map Padlet where participants can register where they're coming from. So if this is your first day in the symposium with us, please register where you're coming from in the map Padlet, okay? So after the presentations, we should move on to the discussion moment, starting from the Padlet of this session for comments and questions, okay? So now, I'm starting from goal 1, presenting our internationalization teaching project. I would like to move to the sharing mode here. Just a second. Okay, one more moment. And here we go. Okay. Well, so then I'm starting. Sorry. Okay. So there is another person who has prepared this presentation with me. She is not here today. Our colleague from the Uni of Mons, Université de Mons, Belgique, Julie Valasik, she's not feeling well today, and unfortunately, she could not be here with us. But I would like to add that paradoxically, it was the pandemic which has been keeping people apart that brought us close. Yeah, in fact, it was Julie, who's an English language educator and also leads the CLIO project at Mons. CLIO meaning Content and Language Integrated Learning. It was Julie with her interest and generosity who spotted a potential for our interaction. This happened last year. And well, we started this project together. And well, as the title of our symposium points out, right? What can we do together to improve the world? We are now taking the first steps towards promoting learning experiences so as to bring students and teachers closer in building academic knowledge together. Yeah. So we wanted to represent UFCSPA and also Unimons there. And so this is our project, briefly putting it, right? Our objective, our goal is to promote interdisciplinary, disciplinary, and language online academic activities by one or more teachers, meaning teachers from UFCSPA and teachers from MONS, under a common methodological guidance. By doing so, we aim at bringing our academic communities closer, meaning teachers and students, by promoting online academic exchange. Also, we aim at stimulating the development of intercultural skills, as we see that this is a skill to be really desired in the education of the 21st century, academic higher education in the 21st century. We also wish to acknowledge different cultural backgrounds as beneficial to academic exchange. Furthermore, we wish to welcome multilingualism, as our community has Portuguese as its first language, and the Belgian community has French as its first language. We wish to enforce teamwork as a venue to reach mutually relevant solutions to the challenges of our communities. Also to encourage the development of problem-solving competencies, to adopt active methodologies as a way to boost students' central role as the leading actors in the learning process, to encourage new teaching projects, and to consolidate knowledge about integrating content and language in higher education explorations. Well, just to emphasize, I would like to quote the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by the United Nations, right? According to which target 2.7 by 2030 is to ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among others, through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of a culture of peace and nonviolence, global citizenship, and appreciation of cultural diversity and of culture's contribution to sustainable development. So we think we are in a great condition to have our universities together, to have our teachers together, and to promote this kind of link to our students. Well, who speaks English in the world today? So as this session addresses the use of English as a means to teach content, it has been estimated conservatively, this is not new data, right? That's from 2008. There were as many as 2 billion speakers of English in the world by then, but English as a second language or lingua franca, right? Not as participants' first language. And those figures, they point out that, well, participants who or speakers who adopt English as a second language or lingua franca outnumber the first language speakers by at least in 4, right, to 1. So statistically, we can see that native speakers are a minority for the English language, and thus for language change, for language maintenance, and for the ideologies and benefits associated with language. As an applied linguist, I would like to add that this concept of native speakerness is one that I would like to see deconstructed, because this idea of a native speaker is something like an idealized entity, who is the native speaker these days? So we have to question that because, well, speakers are like in socially constructed environments. So meaning we have to be proud, right, in short, of using a language, being that not our first or being our second or our third language, right? Rather than being concerned with like those who have English as their first mother tongue. Well, I would like to end this brief introduction of the first goal with this definition of internationalization by DeWitt, which like Julie and I see eye to eye with, and our university as well, right? I said Julie and I because we planned these slides together. So by internationalization, we mean the intentional process of integrating an international, intercultural, or global dimension into the purpose, functions, and delivery of post-secondary education in order, and this is very, very important, to enhance the quality of education and research for all students and staff, and to make a meaningful contribution to society. So that's why MONS and UFCSPA are coming together in this internationalization project, especially because we see internationalization as a step towards enhancing the quality of education and in making meaningful contributions to our community. Well, thank you, merci, obrigada. Okay. Well, after having covered the first goal, I would like to move on to the second one. And then I would like to introduce my partners. And first of all, I would like to thank them, right? My colleagues, Ana Carolina, Juliana, and Mauro, for having opened room in their busy agendas to be here today, willing to discuss their teaching experiences. The first one is Ana Carolina da Costa Fonseca. She's from the Humanities and Education Department and teaches philosophy and ethics. So welcome, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Aninha. Aninha is going to present our Padlet. Yes. Great. So we prepared this Padlet together. All graphic compliments going to Aninha because I have no talent to do this beautiful thing. And I'd like to thank you for the invitation, for the partner for all these years, and for do this so beautiful presentation. Go on, please. So we started to give classes in English in 2015. Our first class was on a book called Justice, written by Michael Sandel. There is also a course by Michael Sandel available in internet. You can do if you wish. You can do also direct in Harvard. They offer this course in for free. And since 2016, we offered courses called Ethics and Movies. We offered this course 5 times. Go on, please. So, first of all, the participation criteria. The students have to feel free to participate if they believe that they have knowledge enough to be in a course just talking in English. Usually it works very well. We have no problems with the language. Go on. So here you have the presentation on the course Justice by Michael Sandel. He is Michael Sandel. And here you have the goals. I have to discussion of ethical topics presented in the book and series Justice by Michael Sandel. It's a very interesting book. I do suggest that you read if you have interest. At the end of the course, participants are expected to have gained experience with the course twofold goals: development of critical skills, and join the ethical discussion presented, and practice of contextualized English. Go on. And so the didactic procedures, the classes would be of the expository type with that of audiovisual research. There were also reading and discussion activities, and student participation was encouraged. Go on. So here you have the course contents. I guess we can go on to talk about the other courses. Yes. And then the next semesters we tried to use series and movies available on Netflix. It is easier to find the courses. Aninha, go on, please. And so you have more or less the same contents, but there is something special, the essay writing. And go on. And then I'm care about the time. So students have to write an essay, a short essay, and they have to correct other students' essay. So we did one. We show how to write an essay in class. We did this together, and then the students have to do this at home. Go on. So the seminar contents is the presentation, analysis of rational and moral discussion, moral problems and argument on moral problems, practical ethical themes, and the essay production. So, and this you have we put the list of movies. We discussed the mid-representation, Dallas Buyers Club, The Help, Awaken, Side Effects, 3096 Days, The Hours, Trust, The Bridge, and Jesus Camp. Next year, Rope, Brave, The Wave, Blade Runner, The Martian of Venice, 12 Angry Men, The Danish Girl, The Serpent Eggs, Spotlight, Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex. Yes, and then Blade Runner, both the old one and the new one, Frida, Beauty and the Beast, The Martian of Venice again, 12 Angry Men again, Spotlight, Match Point, Julie and Julia, Rope again. And then last year, the year that was different because of the COVID-19, and then we choose movies and series available on Netflix. Then it was easier to students watch the movies and series at home, and then we discussed them in class. The class synchronic. The movies and series are Grace and Frankie, Cooked, Madame C.J. Walker, Liberated, Hot Girls Wanted, and Audrey and Daisy. And then the virtual classroom. So this is the Moodle. All credits to Aninha also. And then the Padlets. Yes, Aninha? Aninha is going to present the Padlets. And the quiz.
If I can contribute, I'll just like to add that when we moved on to ethics and movies, we decided to add this like other goal, which was essay writing, and like students, all from the perspective of giving students the lead in class. So it was a goal to give feedback, to produce feedback, and to learn to produce an essay in English as well, right? So we worked with that as a goal. And we had to deal with the fact that we were teaching them from a distance starting last semester. So we had to incorporate different resources. And the Padlet seemed to be a very appreciated sort of resort that we adopted. And every time we would have a discussion, we would like add to the Padlet, because that's where you can have videos, you can have students' comments, as you can see there. So they came up with words such as disruptive, sad, perplexifying, right? Intimacy seems meaningless, feels like masturbating using another person. So students would bring their opinions alive, and they would add several links, and that was a way that we found to bridge the space, the gap, right, of distance, yeah, from the students. Did we go on to the, yeah, okay. So this was just a sample of wrapping up in this course, right? The students didn't find it too rigorous because it was the first time we had it online, and we only met when we had discussions. We gave them time off to watch the movies, so that would count as class time, but they would watch the movies by themselves. We considered it was very important to focus on accomplishments, right? So aspects they were proud of. So someone said, I started talking about the ethics in the series movies we saw with my girlfriend, and I really believe we are better persons now. And it was very, very positive feedback for us, right? Also, the most challenging assignments, while writing their first essays, putting together, watching movies with their routines logically, what they would change if they could change something. Well, they would like to have face-to-face classes again. Who wouldn't, right? And so this student also wanted weekly meetings, because we wouldn't meet every week. We would meet every other week or something like that, right? So they felt lonely, and they wanted to be in contact more often, which is very positive feedback as well, because they were enjoying the course. There is something I would like to add before we move on to the next slide. It's not even about this course, but about the previous one, the one with topics by Michael Sandel. The fact that when we got to class on the first day, we were speaking English, if you remember, Anna, and they looked puzzled, you know, the students looked puzzled, and then they told us, they asked us, why are you teachers speaking English? We said, well, this is an English speaking course, like when you registered, didn't you see that? Didn't you? No. And then, well, I just looked at Anna and I thought, oh my goodness, they're all gonna quit. We are gonna, by the end of this first class, we are going to have no one in class. Well, we were very fortunate because no one left, right? It seemed very natural for them. So this showed us something, a lesson about not underestimating our students' language skills, right? They stayed and they enjoyed it, right? So that was about the other course, but I thought that feedback was something important to be mentioned. Well, advice they would give students taking the course in the future: don't judge the recommendations. Every series my teachers told me to watch was amazing. So, well, we're glad they enjoyed our choice. Maybe the way we went about the movies. So it's Anna's, how Anna's doing, you know, the choice of movies. Enjoy it. It's very thought-provoking. So now we are advertising for our course here. And when they said like that their course expectancies were not really met here, like the student said that he meant that he expected them to be face-to-face. So that was the only point, right? And we were also concerned whether the course seemed suitable to the online format, and the feedback we got was positive. If they would take other courses in English in the future, yeah, right. Well, How was working with two teachers? We were two, and we also wanted to know their feedback. I loved the way the class was guided. In some discussions, the teachers would disagree, so we had different perspectives. That is very important, I think, right? Because when we teach with partners, that like we provoke students, yeah, revealing our points of view. Great to have two different opinions and takes on the subjects. Yeah, that often happen, but they also completed each other. Yeah, our opinions very well, I'd say. A few adjectives you would use to describe the course: innovative, provoking, funny, and enjoyable. Funny, maybe the person meant fun, or maybe funny, well, whatever. Clever, thought-provoking, comfortable, and cool. Well, would you like to add some comments? I started watching Modern Family on Netflix. I think that there's a lot of ethics to be discussed in some of the episodes. Let's choose the movies together and have a second time around, please. Well, yeah, we are up to that. And then, well, also some feedback here, like expressing, that was somebody's Twitter, yeah, encouraging other students at UFCSPA to join this course in the future. So that's it. Okay, so now I leave the floor back to Anna.
And the message in the end, the last one. Yes, this one, please. Teaching through EMI is about creating opportunities for social interactional research to be articulated in order to expand academic communities. So it was always a great pleasure to share classes with Aninha and to teach on ethics and movies. And if you have some questions, we are ready to answer or later. Yes? Thank you.
Okay, well, so moving on. Let me just be here just to introduce our next speaker. So Juliana Herbert is our next speaker. She's from the Applied and Exact Sciences Department and teaches basic computing in health, software engineering, and projects management. And it is my pleasure to introduce her and to introduce her as my partner as well. Juliana, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ana Luiza. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I was very happy to be invited to participate in such important event that we are having at our university. So I'm going to present here some ideas. Let's see. Okay. So, okay. I'm going to talk about this course that Ana Luiza and I were sharing. That's called Talks About Healthcare Software. This course had 2 editions until now. The first edition was in 2019 as an extension course with 10 students. From the 10 students, we had undergraduate students, graduate students, and some of our colleagues, actually. We have a teacher, we have technical staff from UFCSPA. It was really interesting. And in 2020, we decided to offer this course as a graduate course. We had 12 students. This course was offered by PPG TIG Saúde, Information Technology and Healthcare Management graduate program. And actually, it was offered for other graduate programs as well. And we had a very interesting group too, and with different backgrounds. And of course, the discussions were really interesting that were just happening in the context of this course. This course is part of the Internationalization at Home program that Ana already explained it. And I think that it's so great to have this opportunity here at UFCSPA of this Internationalization at Home program. Actually, I would like to have had this kind of opportunity when I was studying at university. So talk about motivation and goals. We think that, or we know actually, that software systems are used in healthcare. They are used a lot with complex and critical functions, and it's really important that not just the software developers, software scientists, computer scientists would be used to these new technologies, and especially to know how to use and how to address these new technologies, new approaches that are being offered in the healthcare context. So the idea is that with this course, we would be addressing different health software scenarios. And of course, the idea is not to teach, for example, artificial intelligence and virtual reality and the other topics that we're approaching there, but to have especially discussions about that. So of course, we're talking about the concepts of it, but especially the discussions were related to the impact of the software use and digital inclusion that is so important nowadays, and this kind of thing, especially related to innovations. And of course, the idea to have this course in English is to develop the skills for people to understand these technical terms and to be able to communicate with professionals from other countries. So it was something that let very clear in the first class for the students that our purpose was not to teach English or to teach, for example, software systems, but of course to talk about all these subjects, and of course we would be learning English. Yeah. So I'm going to talk especially about this last edition, the 2020 edition. Yeah, and of course, as everybody knows, not everything goes as planned, and this edition was completely planned as a face-to-face course. So Anna, Luiza, and I had lots of meetings and discussions, planning, lots of dynamics and things like that to be working face-to-face with the students. But we had just one class that was face-to-face, that was on March 12th. And then after that, restarting in August and finishing in October, we just had the online classes. So, of course, we had to change lots of things that we have planned before, but actually, it was really awesome, even so. So here we have the pictures of the participants, of the students that had participated in these last editions. And it was conducted by using Google Meet. And we had synchronous meetings each week, 2 hours classes, actually. And the participation was really, really good, yeah. The main topics that were discussed during these classes are here. So, for example, to give you some ideas, yeah, we just started. Our face-to-face class was about data security and privacy. So, talking about the kind of data that software applications, especially mobile applications, collect. They actually in a daily basis. And all kinds of reports and things like that are produced using our personal data. So very interesting discussions. And as I said, using some dynamics that were planned for face-to-face meetings. And then from the second topic on, we had these online classes. And so we talked about artificial intelligence, robotics, telehealth. Of course, we talked about something about COVID-19, and it was especially contact tracing apps that were something that was really being discussed last year, and some serious games, for example, for mass communications about health issues. And our approach was to have a classroom at Moodle that was completely updated all the time, so with materials that were used during the classes, and actually extra material, some complementary material And we saw that some of the students were really seeing some videos that we just left there and reading some texts that were really extra, yeah. We decided to create a WhatsApp group with teachers and students to be able to communicate themselves to them in a easier way. Of course, all the messages were sent by Moodle as well, but actually some ideas that were just happening during the week, the students were changing, were having some discussion in English in the WhatsApp group, so it was really interesting. As I said, we had one synchronous class per week, and all classes were recorded, and the link to the video link was available there at Moodle, just in the date of the class. And per class, we had one main topic and some activities related to this main topic. Yeah, and we had some asynchronous tasks too. I'm going to show you one of the tasks. For example, the idea is that the students should be prepared to the class discussions and to some activities. Of course, there are some very short asynchronous tasks, but was something related to read something about the topic, for example, or to use some specific app, or to take a look at some website or something like that. And in the end of each class, we had a feedback section where we were talking with the students about how they felt about each class. Yeah, and we were using different techniques, and some of the feedbacks were very short. For example, using just one word, one sentence, and some of them they have to discuss about that. And actually, they gave very good feedback for us, and including some improvement ideas that were used then in the other classes. Yeah. So actually, we just finished our synchronous class and had a short meeting. Anna and I had short meetings to be discussing about how the class was, and then we had other meeting planning the next class. So it was a really wonderful work with Anna. As Ana Carolina said, Ana Luiza is a wonderful partner to work with. And about assessment criteria, yeah, I had 3 criteria. The first one was an article presentation that the students should choose an article about some topic related to healthcare software and should be presented to the class in English using slides. So here it's important to mention that we have different backgrounds and we have the different proficiency levels as well. So it was interesting because, of course, some of the students were speaking very good English and some others had some more difficulty to talk in English, but they were always encouraged to talk in English. And I think that we were able to do a very good job. And we had a final seminar that was presented in groups of 3. And we had a grade for participation that was based on participation during the classes. It was per person too. Here we have some examples of the class activities that we conducted there. So we used lots of different tools. Of course, all the tools were online. So as a Padlet that you already know, Miro, Quiz, Jamboard, MindMeister, App Sorteio. So we're trying to use the different tools each class with the idea that then the students should be knowing these different tools and should be able to be discussing with us and participating in very different ways. And actually, one of the feedbacks that we received is that they were able to know lots of different online tools as well. So it was not one of the goals that we had with the course, but it seems that it was something that was very well perceived by the students. And here we have an example of an asynchronous class synchronous task, sorry. It was about augmented reality. So here we have some examples of videos that the students produced at home. Actually, this one was produced by me at my office at UFCSPA before the pandemic situation. And these other were produced by the students. And the idea was that they are going to download some app to install it. And of course, there are free apps. And then to be able to use it and to show to the colleagues during the class that we're going to be discussing topics about augmented reality in the healthcare context. So it was, as I said, really interesting. And the final seminar was presented in groups, by groups. And so here they didn't need to use a specific article, scientific article. They should be deciding about the topic. And of course, the topic should be informed before the seminar. And the idea was to present something that called their attentions and maybe using some of the concepts and some of the ideas that we have been discussing during the semester. So, for example, some of the students presented the idea of how they use software, healthcare software in their works. As I said, we had different backgrounds. So we had, of course, different contexts of use of this software. And some others presented something more specific related to their knowledge field. We had produced, actually Anna produced this Padlet about the course. At the end of the course, I just helped her. And we had we summarized it here, all the things that happened during the semester. So, as I said, I didn't mention, but we had some invited guests. So, Dr. Thais Russomano, that's from the King's College. She's Brazilian, but she lives in London. And Professor Alcir, that's from UFCSPA. They both participated, presenting something about their projects, about their work, and of course the presentations were in English. Yeah, and here we just left some messages. We teachers left some messages for the students at the end of semester, and the students let us some messages here too. So as I said, the feedback was really positive. It was really good to be working with this group. About the lessons learned, yeah. I think that it was really essential to have an English teacher and another teacher, that was me, from the course area. As I was always joking with the students that, okay, if I say something and Ana Luiza says different thing, please believe Ana Luiza, because she's the English teacher, she knows teach English, and I'm just using the English the way I can. So, and from the other hand, it was really interesting to have somebody from the informatics area. That was me. I think that was interesting, actually, at least. And so we had very interesting discussions and the challenges and the comments from the different perspectives. The online classes were challenging. As I said, all the course was planned to be taught by using face-to-face mode. But at the end of the semester, we saw that it was a very interesting option. So we could repeat that without any problems. We didn't had problems losing, for example, some part of the content, or we don't think that it was a problem to be able to achieve the goals that we proposed in the beginning of the semester. Synchronous classes, they are really important, they are fundamental. So we don't see that this kind of course can be taught just using asynchronous activities. But of course, the synchronous activities can be very interesting to complement the synchronous classes that we had. And the course, né, de formação para docência em língua inglesa, internationalizing health sciences, that was taught by Ana Luiza and Margaret, was really important for me to be able to plan and execute all classes. So it's interesting because I already gave some other courses in English abroad, and it seems that's easier if you think that, okay, someone is seeing somebody that's Brazilian is talking in English, so okay, you can make some mistakes, you can have some problems talking, but you're talking, you're expressing yourself. But I was just wondering if I would be offering a course in English here in Brazil. So people were supposing that I had a perfect English. So during this course, I was able to see that it was not the purpose of it. And of course, my English is not perfect, but it was enough. And it was, even with my English, it was, I was able to be offering this course with, of course, with an English teacher that it's really important to have together. And it was really an awesome experience. I really enjoyed that. So a message for future MI teachers, go for it. Yeah, try to do that. And it's really good. It is really important. And it's so good to see the students communicating in English and exchanging ideas. And we had some of the students that never left Brazil, for example, never travel abroad. And they were able to have this experience of having a course and be talking and be discussing in English here in Brazil. So it's, I think that's, it's really important, it's really nice, and I'm really happy, as I said, to be participating in this internationalization at home program here at the UFCSPA. And it's really worth it. Yeah, it's, as I said, it was an awesome experience. I really want to repeat that. And that's it. So thank you very much. And of course, thank you for the invitation. Thanks so much, Ana Luiza, for our partnership. And okay, I will be available for questions then later. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation, Juliana. Great pleasure always working with you. Okay, so without much ado, I pass the floor to my colleague, Mauro Mastella, who's from the Applied and Exact Sciences Department and teaches General Management. Right, it's a pleasure to have you here, Mauro.
Okay, thank you, Ana. Thanks everyone for attending this session. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so I'm here to talk about my teaching experience in an elective course I offered in the university 2 years ago. It's in a topic that it's different from the topics usually taught in the university. So it was a course called Personal Financial Planning, How to Deal with Money. As you may know, I have a background in finance, and I wanted very much to offer this course. And after attending the course on how to teach through EMI in the university, I decided to try to. And I really had a very good experience doing it. So let me introduce you to this scenario that I was facing within myself and what I thought the students would face within the course. I had, to be honest, lots of fears. I thought average students were averse to studying finance. So I used to think, why would I teach finance for students in health related courses? I mean, why would they join a finance course if they come from a health related undergraduate course? I thought they wouldn't be willing to. And I thought, okay, why would anyone bother to study finance in English if they can do it in Portuguese? As everyone usually thinks that finance is a hard topic to study. I thought students would be averse to do it in English. And the reality, in fact, was there's a high demand for courses in the university with new approaches. So whenever a teacher comes with a new approach for a course with creativity, with new designs, students tend to talk to each other, and there's a high demand to that. I had plenty of students interested in my courses. And they decided to apply to my course because sometimes they go into heavy debt. So many of our students in the university, they lack of resources for living in Porto Alegre and for attending their classes. So they go into debt and they are concerned about it. They are also worried about their pension fund and what they're going to do when they retire. So they want to learn how to save money and how to cope with it. And they also don't want to be fooled by Ponzi schemes, you know, by their investment offers that promises you to be filthy rich as fast as you can think of. So I had a really high demand for my courses, which actually surprised me a lot. And in the end, I realized that there was no need for fear. Actually, in the first classes, I realized that the fear of using English as a means of instruction disappears within minutes, because both students and teachers tend to focus on content, and they actually forget they are speaking English. They get involved in their activities in the class and their assignments and all the things they have to do, and they participate in classes actually more worried about the content than with the language they are using to talk about it. And that's really good. That's when things flow in classes. In my case, as I was teaching finance, the use of English actually helped to avoid prejudice regarding finance, because everyone thinks studying finance can be boring and hard to learn. So using English avoided to fall into that kind of thought, and it was really helpful. So I would like to talk to you a little bit more about the course itself. So my goal was to offer students basic knowledge regarding their own financial literacy, so they could gain awareness of the responsibilities regarding their financial stability. Of course, if it's not a PhD in finance, it's just a short course in finance. So my goal was to offer them basic tools so they can control their financial life. And also to get rid of the aversion people usually have regarding topics in finance. My goal was to make them realize that studying finance can actually be cool and interesting, as something I believe that it's related to our own citizenship, right? In my very personal point of view, shouldn't be anything close to a topic close to universities, right? I think everyone should know about finance because it's related to our citizenship. And students also realize that during the course. And one of my other goals was that after learning to organize spreadsheets, to plan and to control their cash flows, to meet saving goals, they would be invited to revise and to also advise their peers in class on their personal finance. So that was one of the activities they have to do during their classes. And they did it, and it was quite good. So what was my course content in this course? The first of all, I tried to motivate them a lot about the need of financial literacy. And during the classes, they have some activities they should do online. So before each class, they should read a few articles and understand some definitions so that we could profit more from the time that we have face-to-face. And I will explain later on how this works. I also talked to them about consumer behavior and the impact of interest and how shops, stores, and commerce tend to make you go into debt to attend your consumer behavior. So they actually were impressed on how that can affect their financial life. I also talked to them about the basics of budgeting, on how to face revenues and debt and incomes. I also talked about debt and the habit of saving money and how that should be really a habit and not something that you do once in your life. We talked about investment returns and risks, especially I was scared that after knowing a bit of finance, they would jump into the financial market trying to get filthy rich within days, and that's very risky. So we talked about it as well. We talked about insurance, we talked about pension funds and how to plan your retirement. And we talked about the responsible use of credit, because credit can be useful in some times of your life. What kind of resources I used in classes? So I used readings, and I was impressed actually that in Brazil we find plenty of material describing our financial market and our financial products in English, text by the central bank and our security commissions. They were really useful, and I try to use with the students the same texts and material the central bank and other institutions use to advise Brazil abroad. So I found plenty of materials for doing that, and that was really helpful because the language was accessible. We also used exercises on Moodle because sometimes in finance you need to go through math, and we did the basic math online and in classes as well. We tried to solve some case studies during the classes. There were plenty of spreadsheets. They should use Microsoft Excel and to prepare spreadsheets to organize their finance. They prepared their own database of their expenses so they could have graphs of their expenses on a monthly basis. And something really useful that I used in class was the pre-tests. So before each class, as they should read, so they could understand the jargon in finance. Yes, finance has plenty of jargon, right? Which is vocabulary only used in finance. And I was worried about it. So I gave them readings with definitions. And before each class, online in Moodle, I offered them short tests with 5 questions, 6 questions, 7 questions at most. They should answer these short tests before each class. So whenever I arrived in class, I already knew which topics I should put more effort into making clear for them, because I knew their weaknesses before the class. That was really helpful for me because it saved a lot of time during classes. Okay, let me show you how I try to organize the grades and the marks. So I shared in 3 grades, right? So I had one criteria, which was student participation along the semester to foster them participate during classes. They shouldn't be quiet all the time. And I learned that if you keep them busy and if you give them polemical topics, they like to talk about it and they bring their opinion. It's very good. The second grade is the quality of their balance sheet. So I call them to make their own balance sheet, to list their assets and their liabilities, and to make their own personal budget. And I encourage them to be really creative in graphs and tables, so they really used it. My idea with the course was not just doing the course right so they have credit, was trying to really offer them tools and to change their behavior regarding their findings. And through these tables and graphs and balance sheets, I think they put their hands on and learn how to organize their personal finds. And of course, there were plenty of learning from a distant activities. There were these wiki in Moodles where they should help me defining jargon and keywords. There were forums. There were these pre-tests as well. So I kept them busy most of the time. Let me talk to you now about some of my results and outcomes. First of all, I agree with my colleagues that I had an amazing professional experience. For me, as a professor, when I decided to join UFCSPA, I looked in the strategic planning of UFCSPA, and I found that UFCSPA had internationalization goals and projects going on, and that's one of the things that called me to the university. And not only me, but it seemed to be that students also enjoyed the journey with the course, and they really learned about finance. Some of them are asking me to offer this course again now. One suggestion I can make to my colleagues here that are listening to the presentations and considering also offering courses in English is keep the students busy. Right? You have to keep the students busy all the time. You have to give them tasks. You have to give them feedback. You have to give them online tests and things to work on so they keep in touch within the course. And time in classes just flies, you know. Whenever we saw it, 2 hours were gone. In my belief as well, teachers should always be trained in advance to do this kind of courses, because it's time demanding, as my other colleagues already talked here. You need to prepare your coursework. You need to train your methodology. And regarding the course that I did with Anna and Margaret, as Juliana said, it's a course that we learn tools not only to teach in English, but also to teach in Portuguese. My classes in Portuguese changed a lot after making the course of how to teach in English, you know, and that was really helpful for me. And just like my colleagues, I look forward to doing it again, and I plan to offer this course now fully online in the next semester or in the next year, okay? So I'm open to your questions. I really thank you for your attention, for listening to me here, and I'm curious to hear your questions, okay? Thanks for your attention.
So thank you, Mauro. Another great presentation. Thank you so much. There's a lot for us to discuss about. But before we move on to the questions, I would like to say that this session is linked to the first Friday session, which is going to be held at 10:30 a.m., when we are going to have our colleagues from the University of Mons talking about their experiences in teaching English in their context. And I would also like to highlight that our project together, our joint project with Mons, aims at having two teachers together, perhaps teaching from an interdisciplinary goal, which is we may have an architecture teacher and a medical doctor teacher working together, each one from their own perspective, as we see that that's a very relevant educational possibility for the education of the 21st century. We may have courses held in French, which is their first language, as we already have a colleague who's interested in hosting classes in French, our French teacher, matter of fact. They're interested in having classes in Portuguese, or having Portuguese as the language, right? I mean, or we may have classes led by a single teacher, but being a teacher from UFCSPA or a teacher from Mons, we mean to have students working together, you know, from the to different universities. This is what we are heading to in our project. And to conclude with, well, as my colleagues mentioned, Mauro and Juliana especially, they came, the three of them were part of this course, which I teach with Margaret Gervais, and it's for teachers' development in teaching through English as a medium of instruction. And as they put it so well, the course is about developing interactional skills. That's what people do in class. It's not a language course as much as the classes that they mentioned here were not language classes. But how do we learn to interact? How do we learn languages? By practicing, right? And it's much about being an international interactant, not only because of the language, but especially because of the focus on the learner, this centrality in developing this competence of being a leader, you know, and what like interactants need and our students need, we all agree on that, is to develop these skills in leadership. And also coming from our university, which is a university in applied health sciences, we know that health teams are multi-professional teams. So what we need is people that interact together and they know how to solve problems. And I think my colleagues couldn't have been more fortunate in their presentations, because this is exactly what they aimed at highlighting. People together solving problems, right? Solving course problems, solving real life problems in the format of their adaptation to the classroom, right? So this is the goal of our course. And with that, I think we can move on to the questions. Should we see the Padlet, or how does it go? I can read from the Padlet, yeah? Okay. Let me project it. Oh, it's being, okay, it's there. If we have students here, I would like to
Learning is back.
I'm back, sorry. Problems. Nothing different from our daily teaching lives.
Indeed.
So if I have any participating student here, someone who has attended courses in English at UFCSPA, please feel free to register, your feedback in the Padlet area. So someone is asking here whether there's any program to include, any planning to include the course we already had in our program for the year. I just don't know whether the person means ethics and movies or if that's the teacher's course, because we are going to have both, right? I guess I can say that. We're going to have both of them. We're going to have ethics and movies, which is for students, and we are going to have the teacher's course in the online format. Yeah. So that's part of our formação docente, which is excellent and offers a variety of courses. Yeah, and this is part of them. So we are going to host the teacher's course in 2021, hopefully. Okay. Did you offer any EMI training to the lecturers? Oh, that's the question I just addressed. And I think I should add something rather important. As far as I'm aware of, we were the first university in the country to start with this kind of educational program. We started in 2014, and we started planning for it in 2013. I don't know whether Alexandre Almeida is here as part of the audience, but he was important in encouraging the course and putting like the foundations for the course, standing with me, right? I always idealized the course, was very interested in like EMI. And then we started in 2014, and we've been having very like fruitful results. So yes. Okay, so I want to pass the floor to my colleagues now to the next question, because someone is asking here. So if I want to start teaching in English, how should I start? Who wants to answer that? Mauro, maybe?
Okay. Well, first of all, coming back to my presentation, I really think before offering a course in English, you should do our university course on how to teach in English. You know, we were in our master's and PhD background, we were never taught on how to teach in English, never. So it's the first time that we put some thought about it, and we stop and we reflect of our actions and how we can use English. And as we talked during the course, using another language has many implications in the way students approach problems and how they think in classes, and that's really helpful. The second thing I would advise is to choose a topic that you can link to something that is going on now in finance. As we all saw during this panel, the three professors tried to pick topics that were updated, or to update their topics to nowadays, and that will attract students' interest to the course. And it's a way of finding better material for teaching classes. I don't know if my colleagues agree with me.
There's another very interesting question. Did you have any fear that you would become more superficial in class because of the language? So maybe you people would like to reply. Now, when I add something later on, that's a very good question, sort of ladder for us. Oh, Ana Carolina, go on.
The other question, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, I would add also that it's I guess it is important to propose provocative questions to the students, so they want to participate, not just for participating in the class, but because they were provoked and they want to say something, and then they are speaking, and they are not thinking if they are speaking in English or not. They are just participating. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ana. That was great. Yeah. Juliana, would you like to add something to that question, or to the last one that I put?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about this question, the first one, I'd add that it's, as we have some experience here at UFCSPA of courses that are already offered in English, I think that it's very important to talk to somebody that has already offered this course in English, and I don't know, change some experience and things like that. Actually, this is already done during the EMI course, and yeah, I'd like to reinforce the idea that it's really important to attend this EMI course. But about this last question, yes, of course. I was afraid about to become more superficial because of the language. And there are some times that I was just thinking, okay, I'm smarter in Portuguese, but okay, let's go for it. And that's it. I think that even if we are afraid about that, it's really important that we try to do that. And yes, of course, when you speak a second language or a third or whatever, it's not always the same that you are talking about your native language, but the most important thing is you try to express yourself. So yes, I was afraid about it.
I think that's a very important question because it leads to other aspects, such as there are lots of strategies that we make use of when we are teaching through English. That's not a particularity of ours. That's a particularity of universities that embark in this journey of adopting English as a medium of instruction. Well, first of all, how do we get adequate, or how do we get to learn specialized language or academic scientific language? By practicing that, right? Fortunately, as Mauro said, if you choose an interesting topic and a topic of your knowledge, your awareness, right, you know, like, the terminology in the field, and that makes things much easier. But also, we have to be very strategic in order to help students, because we have to understand that even though it's not a language class, right, they're also taking the first steps. So in one of my, excuse me, in one of my first courses held in English at UFCSPA, these days, I think I have more courses in English than classes of English, right? So one of my first courses was also a privilege because I taught it with Ana Vasquez, right? Our dean. And the students in that course were very concerned whether they would be adequate in using academic language. She was very concerned herself, and she was amazing in the fact that she started teaching a bit hesitant, and when the course ended, it was marvelous. You know, she had just, English had just boomed for her, but also the view, and also I think for everyone else who's here and who's sharing this experience, this perception that you learn to do that by doing, and that strategies are very important. Strategies in the sense of being clear in your use of the language. Strategies in facilitating students' lives. Like when we give them instructions, we register things down. They read what they have to do. That's very important, you know, because you give them a sense of concreteness. It's not just language coming from like what they hear, but also what they see. So there are lots of strategies that we work with along the course, but especially, you know, working with active methodologies, having the students in the center of the process, because this is not something ours. EMI is a world phenomenon, and these strategies, they are practiced everywhere. So, like, well, today our teachers are teaching here. Tomorrow they're going in a post-PhD course and they're teaching elsewhere, and it's going to be about the same. And the same we say about our students, and especially the students that we get from other universities. So we boost, yeah, our possibilities of getting students from overseas at UFCSPA by doing that. Not to mention that because the courses are elective, well, students are highly motivated in being there. Teachers are also motivated in teaching that. You know, it's something that like makes them feel like curious and motivated in being in class, which is very positive for us, right, from the teaching perspective. Okay, well, I get carried away. The next question. Teaching in English is a challenge for both students and professors. How do you expand the experience to more courses in the university? Would anybody like to reply? First thing I would say, in moments like this one, right, in which people get to know about what we've been doing and the courses being held. And I'd also like to mention my colleagues, the language like educators, English language educators from my department, Melissa Fortes and also Johanna Billig, who are also engaged in hosting courses in English. the presence of an English language educator is not paramount, but well, we can be facilitators in class. We can help in the sense of promoting interaction, helping with language, even though, like, well, I seldom do that with my colleagues who are here, right? Just there's only one thing about Ana and Juliana, what they said, they don't really need me there, right? But there's much learning in being there for everyone, I think, from the interactional perspectives. So how we expand the experience, from my take, it is by having moments like this and like discussing all these possibilities, also having moments with like our partners from the University of Mons, as we are going to have. This is unique for us. It's the first time we are doing that. And I want to highlight the fact we are not joining a university from the Northern Hemisphere in the sense that they're selling us something, right? I have to say that philosophically, this is what I believe on. We are in equal terms there, you know. We are learning together, and we are teaching together, and we are promoting the kind of education we believe in. We don't have the solutions, we have the questions, and we want our students like to share this process of encountering solutions to our community problems. So, and English is our means. We're very excited and very, very proud of that. So I think that's a way of expanding the experience to more courses, right? In the
Ana, I can try to add something on how I expand the experience to my courses, to more courses in the university. If any of my colleagues are feeling not comfortable doing it by themselves, they can share the course with anyone more experienced or that has already done it before. They can invite me, Juliana, any of my colleagues, and the other colleagues who had already offered, and it would be a pleasure to share. I mean, it's useful. And even being a challenge, in my point of view, if we want to be a leading university in the area of health, it's mandatory that we do it. It's mandatory that we internationalize, you know. It's not a choice. We really have to do it.
For sure, yeah. Not only in English, in other languages as well, right? But we cannot deny the role of English, yeah, in the world of sciences and in the world of publications and its centrality. So, like, it seems to be like a very good moment for that to take place. And we are all very proud of UFCSPA, you know. We are a small university, but we've started this process like time ago, 2014, and we are moving steadily with quality classes, quality teaching, and that matters a lot. I think that's a very important thing to mention. Well, do we have anything else that I'm not seeing there? Like for person who's projecting the Padlet? Oh yeah, there's more. Maybe some mentoring would be nice. Well, that's what we do in the course. I mean, we, Margaret and I, you know, it's a 2-semester course. Margaret is on a leave of study. She's not in the country right now. She's at the University of Geneva, and that's why she's not here. But that's what we do, because when teachers leave the course by the 2nd semester, they have a course planned, right? This is our goal. So they choose a topic of interest in their teaching field, and they have the course ready by the end of our program.
It's our essay in the end of the course. We have to come up with the syllabus, with the course program.
Yeah, our final assignment. And we present that. We present actually our teaching plan for our colleagues. And it was really good because, of course, we received lots of suggestions and for the teachers and for the colleagues that are teachers as well, but actually for everybody, from everybody.
Mm-hmm. we've already had a representative group of teachers. I won't remember all their names right now, but Mara Rubia, Helena Barros was in the course as well, Tanira Aguirre, and I was attending, Tanira invited me to one of her seminars once, and in attending her class, I learned at that PPG that students had already attended a number of courses hosted in English at UFCSPA. At the PPGs, and I was very glad to learn about that, right? So maybe we are moving silently, or we are not making enough noise about that, but we are hosting courses, in English, and the students are providing a positive feedback as to that, which is very interesting. Okay, is there anything else? We reached them all? How's it going? Oh, someone saying, oh, we've got Maria Cristina there. Oh, I have to mention Maria Cristina Cardoso. She was a student in the course with Barbara. Sorry, I won't remember Barbara's last name. Her colleague. They are like both on the same department, and later on they hosted a very interesting course, which was, I think, our first online course in English. And on their area. I wish Maria Cristina could talk and could be here with us giving her testimony, because I won't be able to provide details on her course. But as far as I know, it was the first course totally asynchronous that we hosted, and it was their idea. It was like a success as far as I could learn. They had international students in the course, right? So that's fantastic that like our EMI experiences are taking you this far. I don't know whether we have like anything else there. Well, someone is saying that EMI classes are important to give students the opportunity to practice a foreign language without leaving home. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's much more than a language class, than practicing the language, in fact, right? It's like expanding their possibilities also of being in the world, their exposure to the world. Of course, that happens through the language, yeah, for sure.
Anna, and especially regarding that, COVID-19 forced us to change to online, right, as much as we could, and that also opened for us many doors, many opportunities that we can profit from. I mean, if we are online, if we do it also in English, we can have easily many international students.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Have we covered them all? Yeah. Oh, we have some other. Okay, people thanking us. Our pleasure. Good. Well, so I guess I should thank you, yeah, for being here with us. And also, if we could move right towards the right, we have the link to the other Padlet here, Friday Padlet. Okay, that's Julie, our colleague from Mons, and the one who's going to be leading the session with me on Friday. So as I said before, we have a Padlet for Friday too, and we hope you enjoy their experiences, what they're going to share on Friday. So you are linked to this very Padlet we're showing here. So through it, you can access the Mons like Padlet, that one. Yeah, there's a link over there. So if you wish to ask them questions, I know, I'm aware of the fact they started asking us a couple of questions already on teaching through English. Yeah, so feel free also to contribute, yeah, with that one.
Anna, can I say some words?
Of course, yes.
Hi, I really would like to thank you all for sharing with us, for being so motivated, because I really feel motivated every time I talk to you, especially Anna, and to Juliana, because you both are the people that are also part of our community of internationalization, and we frequently talk about this, and it is an amazing job that you are doing, and you are a very nice example of how we can foster this internationalization at home in our university, which is part of our strategic plan, and more than this, because we believe that this is a way for foster intercultural skills in all of us to be global citizens. So this is the major goal, right? From our part as professors or lecturers and the students as well. And I'm so glad. And I haven't the opportunity yet to be a student of the EMI, but I hope I will find an agenda for that soon. And as people also ask, how can we do that? How can we encourage more? And I think we should really plan more capacity courses, find a way, even online, at least part-time, kind of blended courses, a part online and a part face-to-face when possible, but keep doing some parts online as well to give more opportunities for those that are not able to join face-to-face classes all the time. And I think maybe we can try to make some small groups of conversations from lecturers that are interested. I'm very keen to start this. If you want, let's try to plan something to really increase, because I see that many of our colleagues are motivated, because you motivate us. This is why it works so well in our university, because you are very good examples that how we can work in a kind of simple way, but make some advances, I would say, in our way of teaching. And with this experience now that we have with the virtual interaction with the colleagues from all over the world, we have to really take advantage of that. And I also would like to invite already our colleagues to think about offering courses in a virtual way. So very soon, ANGIFIS, our association for federal universities, we will open a call for virtual mobility among all our federal universities. I will talk a little bit more about this when this call will be will be open. Actually, we are still working on that call, but I think our university should be part of that initiative, which is very unique, the first initiative that we're going to have among our federal universities. And this is a huge opportunity for us to interact with other partners from Brazil, and also to get other partners from other institutions. I was going to ask you about COIL courses as well. If you can tell us a little bit, how does it work? What is the difference between a COIL course and a MOOC? And because maybe not all of us are on the same page. And as we have some minutes left, if you can talk a little bit more about this, because this is another step that I think your guys are ready to offer, and we as an institution, we are also ready to offer some COIL courses together with international partners. So what do you think about that, Anna?
Thank you for the question, Jennifer. Just before addressing that, as you were speaking, it occurred to me that even though I've been in teacher development for a long time, like we started classes, Juliana and I, in her PPG, sooner than undergraduate. So graduate courses like sort of almost didn't stop last year, right, at UFCSPA. And then when she first invited me to teach the course online, I had never taught an online course all my life, and I thought, oh my goodness, what is that gonna be like? That's gonna be no good. But then you could see how Juliana showed on screen, all the marvelous projects, right? Like we get motivated by doing things together. So this is to reinforce your point that when we associate with others, we get motivated. And let's all face it, we all work very hard in our university, right? Academic lives are not easy. So when we associate, things tend to get lighter and we have fun. And I think that's very, very important. And that's very motivating. Yeah. So
yes,
just
the students can also be much more engaged, right, with our purposes as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So when Jennifer asked about COIL, like COIL is about integrating with like other universities without like sending students won't go like physically like to the university as well. It's not allowed right now. And I think anyway, the fact that we have the pandemic now was beneficial for us in that sense, because being online is a possibility for everyone. And I said it was a benefit because somehow we are on the same grounds, you know, we are on the same grounds with monks in the Northern Hemisphere. We are in the same ground with so many universities all around the world. So COIL is a possibility for virtual mobility and virtual association. And also COIL takes into account projects which are going to take place for a certain course in a certain moment. So let's say Mauro will associate in finances with a teacher from a university from overseas, and they're going to host a course together. So that unique opportunity constitutes COIL, and we are ready for that. It's just a matter of matchmaking, and that's what Julie and I are going to do. Mons and UFCSPA, you know, we are promoting like matchmaking, and we've got teachers like Margaret Gervais, for example, who said that she's interested in joining their architecture teacher, who's going to like feature her programs on Friday, and they want to discuss solutions for housing for like communities in need and health, you know, how they can promote better health for the dwellers of that communities that will take new kinds of residential projects, for example. So the idea is, in that case, to put together different perspectives and provide students with the opportunities of joining this kind of community, of academic community, in which they have to work out, as I said before, solutions to world problems, right? So COIL is an opportunity for that.
And I think we are ready to, as you said, we are ready to start that. And I really wish that we can have some offers very soon about.
I would like to mention as well, I can't like me saying that Lucia Pelanda was one of the first participants of the course, and she was one of the first teachers to start with like EMI at UFCSPA, very enthusiastic. She started with my colleague Melissa Fortes, and the course was very much looked for, as far as I know, yeah. So she was enthusiastic about it, and from the start, yeah, ever since like she took the course, right, much before she became our president, yeah. So thank you.
So thank you all. Thank you for sharing with us. Really, it was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oops, we are not. I cannot hear you, Anna.
Oh, okay. No. Thank you. So this we are going on with this discussion, as I said before, on Friday. So don't miss our Friday session.
Good morning.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we would like to show the map now. Yeah, to show our participants the map Padlet. Can we?
Yes. Go ahead.
I don't have it on screen. Oh, there it comes.
So nice.
That's awesome.
Who is that one in the northeast part of the country? Which one? Aracaju, great. This one, Brasília, Botucatu. Great. Welcome all at UFCSPA, at virtual UFCSPA. Great. Very nice. Countryside. Yeah. So soon this section will be on the YouTube, available for all of you. And the Padlets as well, right? Even after the meeting, the Padlets will be available. And if you want to interact, use it as a channel for interaction. So this is the idea, right, Anna?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In charge for that.
What about tomorrow, Jennifer? Would you like to announce the session?
Tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow we have a very interesting session with 3 important rectors from public universities, from Federal do Rio de Janeiro, Unifesp, Federal de São Paulo, and UFABC. So 3 presidents, Professor Denise, UFRJ, Professor Soraya, Unifesp, and Professor Dácio. And they will talk about the importance of internationalization on academic and social impact of our universities. As you know, we all have been ranked by many international rankings like Times Higher Education or NQS, and also the national evaluation. So this is not the major point. The point is that so we all believe that internationalization is not an end, but it's a means to increase, to always make better our activities of teaching, extension, so community engagement, research, and innovation. And so they are going to share with us some of their practices of the strategic plans for internationalization, and how these have impact them on rankings and especially at the social impact of the universities. And I'm sure we can have a very good interaction with them, because they are very close to our university, are very, very good partners of us. And I hope you all be there watching them and then interacting with them. They are very keen to be with us, very happy, and I'm sure we're going to have a very nice discussion tomorrow as well. And on Thursday, I will announce them tomorrow. But the program is online. You can all, it's available. Okay. Anna, would you like, guys, colleagues, would you like to make final comments? Final comments on that? Things that I have learned today, and I even mentioned that on the Padlet. So the course in advance is something that it's a very important tip for starting a class in English, I would say, or in another foreign language. Be trained before.
It's not. Feedbacks. Excuse me, Jennifer. It's not a matter of knowing English only. You know, absolutely. It's a matter of learning methodology to teach English, and this is a worldwide approach, right? Just want to highlight that it's not our particularity, right? Like the world is experiencing that because of academic mobility these days, and some universities are ahead of others. It's my pleasure to announce that UFCSPA is not behind several European universities. We are like step by step together in this process, right? But because of academic mobility, this is a kind of expertise we started growing. And this particularity of learning the strategies is not only for speakers of Portuguese, it's for speakers of any other language teaching through English. We have to remember, we have to facilitate learning for our students. So just to highlight your words.
Exactly, very good point. So thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Should we close, or would like to add something else? Juliana, Mauro, and Anna?
just adding that we are announcing our courses soon, right? Our teacher development courses. And should you be interested in joining the students' courses, right? Well, also, they're going to be announced, right? Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much and see you tomorrow. Have a very nice evening, you all. Bye.